the engine was James. James's driver and fireman. With a sudden jerk, it all came easier.
There he went. Into a ditch. Ooh!
You remember when she was ill and bad and... Yes, of course.
Whale Percy, help!
Ran across the line. The cars jerked forward. Oh! They screamed. We can't! We won't! Some of their brakes snapped and the gear jammed in the sleepers.
Oh! His eyes. It's backwards.
Edward's wheels slipped fiercely, and with a shrieking crack, something broke. The crew inspected the damage. Repairs took some time. Oh! It off and away into the valley below.
But it was too late. He so hard. He banged the trucks hard into the buffers, but the buffers weren't so...
Bah! Said Gordon, and angrily let off steam. The rails were now like a tightrope across the thundering water.
We stopped.
Then...
Late.
Too late. Often came off the... They said... This... Peter Sam...
But they weren't. I've got a cramp, he groaned. He drank 3 buckets of water and was just about to drink another when Henry let off steam. Cried the elephant. Water went all over Henry. Poor Henry.
Oh. Cried Percy. Now there'll be trouble. And there was.
Cranky banged
Side the trucks.
out of control and running aground, straight into the sheds.
That long.
They're bringing in the third lorry on a barge. What happened to that one? James asked. Stupid lorry was reversing and fell straight into the sea, said the tow truck man.
It was too late.
But not Sir Topham Hatt. Oil splashed everywhere. Worse,
Control and the fat controller.
muddy ditch close to where Thomas was taking on water. Bother! Bother! Henry had an accident. She was taking a bath and the water was slopping all over the place.
Again.
They were going. The freight cars plunged into Then it happened. saw in my dream. It's coming true. My universe is starting to crumble.
The coal truck behind! Wheels, stop! James! Not going to be any help at all.
How are you?
Went off the rails at Bulgy's Bridge. On.
My net is too heavy, wailed Harold. Harold is in trouble, Percy cried. We must try to help him. He pulled so hard, he broke his coupling rods. He wasn't going anywhere, out of sight, when one rock fell, then another, and another.
Suddenly, his snow power shouted,
But the troublesome trucks delight in mischief, and their mischief causes trouble, as poor Henry found out. Building at the old mine sank into the ground.
he lurched forward and rammed the truck.
Naughty gnomes! Cried Percy.
Oh, help! Gordon cried as he slid off the tracks. And coal dust flew everywhere. Oh! And he took off, blowing cinders and ashes everywhere.
Mavis. Bill! Gasped Mavis. Out and so long that windows broke all over town. Definitely a coloratura. It suddenly snapped. Duncan plummeted down the incline. Help! He yelled.
Off like a mighty...
A low-hanging branch knocked his whistle off, out of sight.
But Fergus was covered in rocks. He
dangled dangerously above the water. He tried to blow hard to clean it out, but instead blew mud all over Gordon.
Silly!
James! Dust went everywhere, crashed through a pipe. James was sure he'd get covered in sludge. But he didn't.
The track. I'm stuck, he groaned. Bertie revved his engine.
Crushed fruit flew everywhere. There was a loud crash. The brake van...
He's fallen in the water. But it was his firebox. to a deep snowdrift in time.
Right into Percy, and the bunting flew up into the air.
Hopper. But he shunted the buffet car so hard everything flew into the air. The carriages rolled. Trucks hurtled into a siding, they biffed and bashed the buffers and fell all over the track. But Percy, the duck pond, he bumped them very hard. Watch as he puffed into a big pile. He bumped into a truck. The truck rolled into a lever. Then it covered the fat control. Thomas stopped with a jolt. Caused a big bump. The eggs fell over. A great whoosh of sparks. She didn't notice the huge white. The coupling broke. Thomas shot forward. Coco gave them an extra big shunt. The truck's an extra hard shunt. Paint pots flew into. The wind howled down the track. Squeeze. It ripped off roofs and flattened fences. Even blew Gordon's tent away. Then there was trouble. He gave him a bump. Suits and the steamy island. For the water tower. Crashed down across the telegraph pole, and they all came off hard as he could, and the carriage crashed on rock fell. Then another rock. Until it decided to be careful. But it was too late. It rolled onto the track. Then there was another loud trouble. Rusty coupling broke. The truck's uncle pushed his way through the barrier. The roof collapsed behind trucks, and they crashed. No. Out of the way. The truck his boiler bubbled and bounced. Like the carriage that bumped into the air, the bell topped the flatbed, crashed into the buffers. Then splat, Rheneas raced right off the track. Straight into the back of the buffers. Sides of the trucks collapsed. Pipes with a loud crunch. His trucks hit the buffers and bright white flour.
Then there was trouble. Blowing with a great big boof. In time, it was very overgrown. Thomas heard scratching and scraping sounds. When stones tumbled down the bank and blocked Thomas's track. Cinders and ashes, cried Thomas. But he still wanted to deliver Alice's presents.
Couldn't stop in time. Came loose his flatbed to a stack of roofing slate. They skipped the
tipped out of the freight cars. He got covered in coal dust. Though he got covered in quarry dust. Then Thomas sent Hector rolling backwards into a set of buffers. Hector crashed off the truck. Then, a snowslide came down and blocked Henry's way.
And he biffed right into his lucky truck, into the barrier. Was surprised. He jumped and Rusty jumped and he biffed his truck. His truck's in surprise. Flour flew up into the air, flatbed so hard they burst through the buffers, smashed through oil drums stacked on,
Splashed into the canal. He heard a loud crunch. Thomas broke free, right under the hopper. Percy was covered in coal from funnel to footplate. Watch out, silly Billy, Percy peeped. Oh no!
Parcels flew everywhere. Too late. Toby splashed through the puddle, head into the buffers. To Bert, they pulled off the flatbed and crashed to the ground.
All the bells jingled and jangled. She backfired. The mud sprayed all over.
Part of the bridge in front of him came away from the rocks. A large piece of the broken bridge fell down into the ravine below. Just as the last part of the bridge groaned and swung over the deep ravine. He toppled off the track. His load crashed down the bank, smashed into the tower. As the tower crashed to the ground, bricks and dust exploded everywhere. Biff the crashed straight through the block tunnel. With a mighty splash, Thomas landed in a pool of water. A thick wall of bushes. He flew across a ravine and hit the ground with a bump. Thomas slid down a hill. Trees and rocks were everywhere. Help! Thomas cried. At last, Thomas slithered to a stop at the bottom of the hill. Stanley's freight car smashed into it, and the tower tumbled down.
He hit the buffer. A bunting went every rope. The magnificent water wheel toward the level crossing.
Coconuts rolled everywhere.
Bashed into Emily. Budge. With a clang and a prang, he hit some buffer. Track started to sink. Emily to the ground. It burst. The train smashed straight into me off the rails. Thomas and Diesel smashed Harry straight into them. Off his flatbed. It bumped. Thomas clanked off the rails and bashed his buffers with a bump. The last of the special blocks fell from his flatbed into the water. Skarloey crashed into...
Loey crashed into Duncan, fell all over Skarloey. Loey bashed into Rusty's cars. Ice cream flew into the air and spattered all over the engines. Loey bashed through the buffers. And with a splash, a sploosh, and a splosh, Skarloey ice cream were flags. They won't have their puppet show.